Hi, I'm Justin, and welcome to the Landis Look, where we take an inside look at the world of real estate. Today, I've got one of my business partners, Jared Thomas, with me. Jared, welcome back to the Landis Look.
Thanks. Excited to be here.
Awesome. So today, we're actually going to take a look at something that we talked about last year, which is how to pay for college with 2 phone calls. And Jared and I both have young children. College is on the horizon. One of the 2 of us actually did take this strategy and buy a property last year to pay for college, and one of the 2 of us didn't. Jared, who was it that did it and who didn't?
In my defense, he just turned 3, so I still have a few months left and still hit that 15-year mortgage by the time he's 18.
Yeah, so you still got time. This is the year, though. This is the year.
Just got to do it.
So we're gonna actually look at that in a little bit more detail. But first of all, why don't you tell everyone who didn't see this last year, what is the premise of paying for college with just a couple phone calls?
Yeah, so it's paying for college. We like to say 80% off. So you come with a 20% down payment for an investment property, find one that cash flows on a 15-year mortgage, and essentially the tenant pays off the house for you.
Yeah.
So, in 15 years, when your child's 18 and ready to go off to school, you have the full equity plus whatever the market has done in appreciation as well.
Yeah, and so the tenant pays off the mortgage, and that's just if you break even, right? So, I mean, each month you're just trying to break even. The house is owned free and clear in 15 years.
Absolutely.
And so from an appreciation standpoint, Jared loves when I quiz him with numbers. If you bought a $200,000 house and appreciated 3% per year for 15 years, how much would the house be worth?
$265,000.
I don't think that's exactly right, but
Okay.
I think it's a little over 300,000.
Okay.
So, if you look at the next 15 years in Atlanta, I think most people would say 3% appreciation is not a crazy number, and that would all be gravy if someone paid off your mortgage. So, Jared, let me ask you, why didn't you buy a house last year? And also, do you know how much the market already appreciated in the year you didn't do this?
I'll start with the first one. The biggest challenge I had, especially at the beginning, was it was hard for me to take off the last few houses I bought, I've been looking through, do I want to live here? Or does my family want to live here? Is this where I want it to be for my job? And as I went through the process, I realized, and I've learned, it's not about, do I want to live there? It's about, does someone want to live there? Is this an attractive property for someone else? I live in the city, but I may have to go outside the perimeter, for example, in order to find these numbers. But there's still lots of opportunities in areas that are great, just not great for me, but they're great for someone. And I just need it to be great for a renter, not for my family.
Yeah, so if I'm hearing you correctly, the tip number 1 is, hey, look at this not through your own eyes, but through the eyes of someone. Because obviously we do want to buy a property we're proud of that someone wants to live in,
right.
But not everyone has a family and has a job that's in the same situation as you. And so you don't have to have a property that's necessarily going to be right for your family.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Any other reason that didn't do it this year?
I think the biggest thing, I guess the second biggest thing would be, thinking about it through the eyes of a renter maybe as opposed to a buyer. It's like, well, this is going to need more work than I would want to do, but really it doesn't. In talking to people that are in property management, renters' expectations are lower. And so not that it's bad or unsafe, but it doesn't have to be, brand new finishes in order for someone to rent it and be happy there. And so that was kind of my other roadblock.
Yeah, I think if any of us who rented houses right out of college, I'm picturing a couple in my mind that we lived in right out of college. It's not that everything was brand new and sparkling. Things worked and it was safe, but definitely does not have to be. If you have been living in your own house or had lots of houses and you're picturing in your mind, hey, every house is like this. A lot of us are lucky that's we're living in houses that have really great finishes and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So to wrap this up, the basic premise is you find a house, you buy it as an investment, 15-year mortgage, so that the mortgage is completely paid off in 15 years. You typically need 20 or 25% down for that, right? 25% down, you can get the absolute best financing, best cost on those. And then you get it paid off 15 years from now, and you have a house that's free and clear that you can use, one for education, but also could be used for anything at that point.
I think that's the beauty of it, is you don't have to use it for college if that ends up not being part of the equation.
Yeah. So if this is interesting to you, you have young kids, or even if you're a couple years behind and you're like, hey, maybe we could make this up, give us a call or drop us a message like so many of you do. When we say 2 calls to do this, it's really a call to us to help get started, and then a call to a lender to make sure that you know your numbers and are pre-approved and ready to go. So we'd love to help you with this, because wouldn't it be great if all of us knew that college was taken care of for our kids 10, 15, 20 years from now. That'd be a pretty awesome thing.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Jared, thanks for being here today. Thanks for taking my grilling on not buying a house last year. And we'd love to help you guys. We'll see you next week.